Hello everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Bytes, where we discuss all things crypto, DeFi, airdrops, and more. My name is Brian, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of going over specific airdrop and DeFi opportunities like we normally do on this channel, today I wanted to share with you a few different um, strategies that I've been using recently to farm a variety of perpetual DEX airdrops out there. Um, Currently, I'm farming over 20 different perp exchanges right now. They're all in different varying stages of running a points campaign, whether it's overt and they show the points being earned or not. They also have trading contests for volume usually. So even prior to the airdrops happening, there's a way to earn money on a weekly basis in some of these exchanges as well. I'll share a list of all these exchanges down in the description below. So we won't actually go through them in this video. Instead, I just wanted to focus on some strategies that I've been working on, that I've learned over the last few months that have helped me, not only put in a good amount of volume while I'm farming these exchanges for their airdrops, but I'm also making money in the process. A lot of airdrop, influencers or other, people on YouTube that talk about airdrops. When it comes to perp exchanges, usually their advice is for you to basically have two exchanges. One of them you go long on, and one of them you go short on at the same time. And so by doing that, you neutralize. If depending on where the price goes, you're gonna make the same amount or lose the same amount as you lose on one versus the other. And the only thing that you end up having to pay is fees. Now, if you're putting in significant amount of volume, like I'm trying to do, hundreds of thousands of dollars a week, at least for me, you don't have to do that much to do well in these. But if you are doing anywhere close to that, we're talking about hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars in fees over the weeks and months as you're farming these things. And so, if there's a way for you to still have that volume and potentially make money, or at least recoup the fees that you're spending, then you're going to have 100% profit from the airdrops that you're doing. And so that's why I felt like it might be valuable to share some of these with you. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And then once I kind of go through each of the strategies, I'll tell you how I'm using each of them collectively through my airdrop farming. All right, so the first strategy that I've been using is called opening range breakout, or the orb strategy for short. Shout out to Ron over at Alpha Drop. If you guys don't follow him on YouTube or Twitter, I definitely recommend that you do. I'll put a link in the description below. I've learned the strategy through some of his videos. And basically what this strategy does is you at the start of each market session, so whether that's the Asian market, the New York market, or the European market, you basically look at the first 15 to 30 minutes since when the market opens, and the first candle that closes above or below the range that is set in that first 30 minutes, that is basically dictating whether the next 30, 60 couple minutes, hours are going to be bullish or bearish on the specific asset that you're looking at. So you can use this strategy on any asset: Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, etc. If you're just starting out, I just started with Bitcoin, and then since then I've expanded to other assets. Let me show you exactly how this works. Okay, so right here I have Solana set up, and basically when I'm using this open range breakout strategy, I have the chart on a 3-minute candles. And so right here, this example that I'm showing is from the Asian market open on the 28th of April. And so starting here, the market opened here. And basically what we want to do is we want to figure out what is the lowest point in the first 30 we take the low and the high of the 15-minute candle and the 30-minute candle, and that's basically going to set our range. So if we go here, we can see that on this 15-minute candle, we have let me put it this way so it's easier to see. Basically, that's the low of the 15-minute candle, and then we have the high of the 15-minute candle. So that's the range on the 15-minute. Then we go over, as this is all happening in real time, so you need to be watching the charts as these markets are opening if you want to do the strategy. So then we get to the 30-minute candle, and basically we can see that that's higher. So what that means is the top range is here, and we don't care about the bottom of the range because the bottom of the 15-minute candle is lower. So we can get rid of this one since the 30-minute candle is higher. And so basically this right here is our range as, oh shoot, that's the, let's see, sorry. This is the 30-minute candle. Okay, so this is our range. So what that means is that now the very next candle onwards, so in this case, the 33-minute candle, once that closes, once the body closes, if it's above the range or below the range, then that dictates what's going to happen next. And so therefore you would want to put a long or a short in at that time. So you can see here that after that, the next candle, while it did go above the top of the range, the body did not close. So it's the body that has to close in order for basically the breakout to be confirmed and then for you to flip long or short. So as you can see, it attempted to go up, the body did not close, and then it attempted to go down, and then we have here by minute 48 the very first candle where the body of that candle closed below the range, and so then you would short there, and then as you can see, you would have had a pretty decent gain at this point. Now there's a number of different ways that you can use this. But basically what I do is, in this example, once we determine that we're going to be shorting, I'll set my initial stop loss for the top of the range. And then I'll basically just be monitoring it, and I'll be moving my stop loss down in this example. And as soon as, we start to see that, I'll bring my stop loss down, and then once it comes back up at a certain point, I'll just close it, because at the end of the day, while I may be putting, giving up money on the table for this particular trade, ultimately what I'm trying to do is just get as much volume as I can on these perp dexes for the airdrops. So I'm not really looking to, fully be a trader with this. I'm just looking to make some money while also having a lot of volume. So in this case, I probably would have ended up putting my stop somewhere around here. And so I would have, been stopped out here. I wouldn't have gotten the full move, but hey, it's better than nothing. And then if it, for whatever reason, would have invalidated and gone up, which it definitely can do, this doesn't work 100% of the time, but it does work fairly often, is that then I would be stopped out here. And, this is basically a 2-to-1 on the ratio here of what I would have made compared to my risk in this example. So that is how the orb strategy works. Hopefully that's clear. I'm going to put below this in the descriptions a couple of videos, as well as this article that goes into more detail, so you can learn from someone more experienced than I. But I just wanted to show you that first one, and then let's go into the next two strategies that I'm also using. So the next one, actually the next two, both of them I've learned from watching Trader Main. So if you're not aware of him, he's a awesome trader. YouTube, Twitter, he's on TikTok even, I believe now. I don't use that, but you can find him anywhere. I'll put some links to his socials below as well. But if you want to learn trading, he's one of the best, I'd say, and he's entertaining at the same time. So Yeah, so the first one here is basically we're taking Monday's range is what the strategy is. And so what it does is at the start of every week, there's a range that is basically created on the data from Monday. And so in TradingView here, there's an indicator called Monday range, and it'll actually plot it out for you. So today's Tuesday, so we can see here that the Monday's range is now over, and it's been set with these green dots here and these green dots here, and this is kind of like the mid level. But what you want for this strategy, we only really care about the top and the bottom. So basically, when Monday's range is that after Monday's over, so as soon as here, if price goes above the top of the range or below the bottom of the range, and then it comes back into the range, then most likely it's going to be kind of a magnet is going to be the bottom of the range in the case if it comes here, or the top of the range if it comes down and then comes back up. And so what you can do is, this is something that you need to monitor in real time. You can't really set limit orders, because if you set a limit order for the top or the bottom, it could just completely break it. And if you're not there, you might just be kind of, wasting money. So what you want to do is check on this and try to catch it in real time. So if you see this and, then it's like somewhere around here, ideally you want to catch it as close to here as possible. But, as long as you're relatively close to the top or the bottom, then you're going to be okay. And you're going to set your invalidation to whatever the height of how high it went out of the range or how low it went below the range. And that's basically how you can set your stop loss for these. And so again, just like the opening range breakout, this strategy can be used across all assets on all time frames. So yeah, this is pretty much Monday's range. Pretty simple. And then the other indicator that I'm using, let me pop that up here. So this indicator is called IMG Basic, and this one was actually created by TraderMain himself. I'll put a link in the description. Here's basically a tutorial of all the stuff on that the indicator does. There's a free version and a pro version. I'm just using the free version. And basically what the free version does for you is you basically pick the time frame that you want to operate in. So other than when I'm looking at the orb strategy, I'm usually looking at the 15-minute charts. And the reason for that is because, my main purpose is getting a lot of volume. So I'm just looking for, to get in and get out on these trades within, 30 minutes or less typically. And so what you'll see is that as price is going on throughout the day, these red and green boxes will start to show up. So in the case, let's see if we can get to current time right here. So you can see right here that this red box had formed, and as the price was coming here, it went into the red box that was created, and then we can see in real time actually that this would have been a great short because it immediately went into the box and it went down. But a lot of the times, it'll come in, like, let's see, like here's one where the box would have been there for a while. So in these cases, what I would do is, I set a couple of different trades starting from the bottom of the box to the top of the box, and then I just set an invalidation just a little bit beyond the box, both for short or for long. And just like any of these strategies, they don't always work. You can see right here that worked. Here, this one doesn't look like it worked. So, it came up here and this was a shorting signal. It did not come down though. It continued going up, but then it went into this, then turned into a long position, and then it did go up. So you're not going to catch every single move, but that's why, I'm only putting like 1% or less price difference for my stop loss when I'm entering to these, and I'm doing just a lot of small trades, so like 100, 200, 300 type of dollar trades. Obviously, if your budget is more, you can get a lot more volume, but for me, that's what I feel comfortable with. So I'm making a couple bucks or losing a couple bucks on each trade, and then I'm doing 100 plus a day through this. So this IMG basic, it works on any asset at all times of the day. And yeah, that's pretty much these three indicators. I'll put the or three strategies rather. I'll put all the details in the description below so you can look more into them on your own time. One couple things to note. So what I like to do is, I'll have all of these indicators on at the same time, and if one is like contrary to what the other one says. So for example, if as an example, well, so if let's say it's a market open and after the 30-minute mark, the orb strategy is telling me that it's going to be bullish, but then I can see let's say that this is the 30-minute candle here, but then I see this red bearish box up here above it. I won't take that trade because a lot of times it's just when it has conflicting information, I've found that it's less reliable than if you just go off of the indicator or the multiple indicators all being in confluence with each other. So when I do see that the different strategies or indicators are all showing bullish or all showing bearish, then I'll actually increase my order sizing, because more times than not it's more likely to actually occur. So that's one thing that you can definitely do, is kind of use multiple strategies in one, to form your trade, and the likelihood that it's going to hit will be higher. What else? Let's see. So I think that more or less covers everything. I didn't mention at the start, but probably the most important thing for you at least is, these Perp Dex airdrops can be quite lucrative, as long as you're not losing a lot of money on your fees or your trading for that matter. Last year, as an example, Hyperliquid was the largest airdrop of the entire, I think all time, actually, not just last year, but of all time. And so lots of people made a lot of money with that, so you could have easily made 5 figures plus just from that airdrop alone. And then there was a good 5 or 10 other airdrops for Perp Dexes last year that I farmed as well that weren't as good as that, but they did more than pay for themselves. And then now, like I said, there's over 20 different airdrops. So I think if you're doing at least a few tens of thousands of dollars on each of the different Perp Dexes that I'll list below, you should easily be able to make a few $100 from the airdrops on each of those. So you're easily looking at a 5-figure payday from your work here, and hopefully with a little bit of practice and learnings from using these different strategies, you can hopefully make money along the way, or at least not lose much in fees. And then all of those airdrops will be fully profit for you. So yeah, sorry if I seemed a little off today. This is not my normal way of sharing things. So, and I'm still relatively new at trading, but these strategies have been helping me quite a bit, and so I wanted to share them with you all. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments below. And yeah, without that, I think we'll take off now. Thanks again. Happy farming.